Suicide is painless. It brings on many changes. MASH was not just a war comedy. It was a battlefield of rebellion, hypocrisy, and dark truth disguised as laughter. The set was a minefield of ego clashes, studio pressure, and accidental genius. From unplanned nudity to blood-reel surgery, Scene's chaos ruled the production. So let's peel back the layers of olive drab and discover 20 weird facts about MASH and one shocking bonus secret that still stuns Hollywood. Fact number 20. Chaos was the point. Director Robert Altman refused to follow the studio's idea of a clean, polished war comedy. He ordered cameras to roll during rehearsals, believing that unfiltered reactions were far more authentic. Many actors did not even realize the camera was recording. Altman captured confusion, tension, and unscripted laughter, turning disorder into cinematic gold. The studio hated the shaky footage, but Altman fought to keep it. His chaotic method reflected the emotional breakdown of soldiers at war. It was not comedy with order. It was madness, disguised as humor. And it made MASH one of the most brutally honest depictions of wartime absurdity ever filmed. Fact number 19. Mutiny on the set. Donald Sutherland and Elliot Gould secretly plotted to remove Robert Altman during filming. They felt the director's loose, chaotic style was incompetence, not genius. They sent letters to the studio urging executives to fire him. When Altman found out, he did not retaliate. Instead, he pushed the chaos further. The distrust among them bled into their performances, creating real friction on screen. That raw hostility became the foundation of MASH's tone. Not camaraderie, but tension, masked as comedy. By the end, both actors admitted the very madness they despised, gave the film its unforgettable authenticity, proving that great art often rises from mutiny. Fact number 18. Laughter in the blood. The humor in MASH came from horror, not jokes. The surgery scenes used pig organs and stage blood so realistic that even crew members felt sick. Altman left their discomfort in the final cut. Actors laughed to mask nausea, turning real revulsion into dark humor. He wanted audiences to feel conflicted, laughing at something horrifying. It was not war comedy. It was trauma disguised as entertainment. MASH blurred that line beautifully, forcing viewers to confront why they laugh at pain. The laughter was real, but so was the disgust, and that duality defined Altman's daring anti-war masterpiece forever. Fact number 17. The football game was real chaos. The football finale was not choreographed. Altman told the cast to play a full game, no rehearsals, no retakes. The shoving, yelling, and tackling you see were genuine chaos. Elliot Gould even got injured for real. The crew used multiple handheld cameras, capturing the confusion from all angles. Altman broadcast the game live through loudspeakers so extras could cheer, as if watching television. It looked like slapstick, but it mirrored wartime distraction soldiers playing games to escape horror. The unplanned energy made the ending unforgettable, a wild, desperate attempt to find joy amid chaos. The perfect metaphor for MASH itself. Fact number 16. Hot Lips wasn't acting. Sally Kellerman's famous shower scene was not rehearsed. Altman told the crew to surprise her when the tent flap opened. Her scream and shock were completely real. She felt violated, but Altman refused to cut the scene. Critics later condemned it as cruel sexism, but Altman defended it as satire on military voyeurism and humiliation. The moment became one of cinema's most controversial ever. It showed that even laughter in MASH came from cruelty. The war was not clean. The comedy was not kind. What audiences saw as funny was built on genuine discomfort, and that raw truth burned itself into history. Fact number 15. The studio tried to sabotage it. 20th Century Fox did not believe in MASH. Executives thought it was too bleak, too cynical, and too strange to succeed. They wanted a light military comedy, but Altman delivered chaos and blood. When early screenings shocked executives, they considered shelving the film. Altman fought back, refusing to compromise. He said the movie reflected how America truly felt about war, disillusioned and divided. Against all odds, the audience loved it. The satire hit nerves that no one expected. What the studio saw as disaster became one of their biggest hits of the decade. MASH turned failure into revolution, proving that art thrives when it defies authority and exposes uncomfortable truth. Fact number 14. The sound of war was designed to confuse. Altman refused to use clean studio sound. He wanted the audience to feel lost inside the chaos of war. He overlapped dialogue, letting voices blur into each other, so that viewers had to listen like real soldiers under stress. This technique, known as multi-track layering, made MASH sound messy but human. No clear leader, no clear line, just noise and survival. The studio begged him to clean it up, but he refused. That confusion became part of the film's identity, forcing audiences to experience tension rather than observe it. The result was revolutionary for sound design and changed how realism worked in cinema forever. Fact number 13. Improvisation was a weapon. Most of MASH's best moments were never in the script. Altman encouraged actors to improvise entire conversations, especially during surgery and camp scenes. The jokes, the insults, even the chaos around the operating table often came from pure instinct. Some actors thrived, while others hated it. Yet the result was organic tension that made the film feel alive. The unpredictability of dialogue mirrored the randomness of war. Altman believed war destroys structure, so his movie should too. The cast didn't know where scenes would go, but that risk created cinematic electricity. Improvisation turned confusion into gold and made every laugh feel dangerously real. Fact number 12. The cross was controversial. The giant red cross painted on the camp's roof angered the U.S. Army, which saw it as mockery of military symbols. Some accused the movie of disrespecting soldiers. Altman defended it, saying the cross symbolized false salvation. Soldiers believed they were safe under, but never were. The image became haunting in aerial shots, where blood and faith mixed visually. It was not a simple prop, it was a statement about the illusion of protection. The controversy only fueled MASH's reputation as anti-establishment art that dared to question the meaning of faith in a war built on hypocrisy and pain. Fact number 11. A priest became the moral center. Father Mulcahy was meant to be a background character, but actor René Auberjonois played him with such sincerity that Altman changed the tone of the entire story. Amid chaos, cruelty, and black humor, the priest represented fragile compassion. He was not a hero, but a mirror reflecting the soldiers' fading morality. Altman used him as a quiet counterpoint to the surgeon's madness. His calm voice and unbroken faith gave MASH depth beyond satire. What began as a small role became emotional anchor, reminding audiences that even in cynicism, there must remain a trace of grace to keep humanity alive. Fact number 10. The laughter was a psychological weapon. Altman did not want audiences to simply laugh. He wanted them to feel guilty for laughing. The humor in MASH was constructed like a trap. Every punchline lured the viewer in before revealing something horrifying beneath it. The laughter became a shield for the characters and for the audience. They joked because the alternative was to break down. Altman said the surgeons laughed at death not because they enjoyed it, but because they had no choice. Many critics called it tasteless. But veterans wrote letters saying the film captured the emotional numbness of real war better than anything else. The laughter was not comfort, it was survival instinct. Through irony and absurdity, MASH taught viewers that laughter could be the last defense against madness itself. Fact number 9. The cast and crew became a real unit. Though the set began as a battlefield of ego clashes over time, it turned into a strange, dysfunctional family. Altman encouraged the actors to live like they were stationed in a real army camp. They ate together, stayed on location, and endured miserable heat during long outdoor shoots. There were no trailers or luxury breaks. The discomfort created authentic exhaustion that shows on screen. The cast began to understand their characters' despair from the inside out. Bonds formed through shared fatigue and laughter became coping mechanism both on and off screen. It was not just acting anymore, it was lived experience captured on film. By the end of production, the cast realized that they had survived something closer to a psychological experiment than a comedy shoot. Fact number 8. The operating room was too real. Altman wanted authenticity at any cost, so he built the operating room using real surgical equipment and detailed medical procedures. To make the film realistic, he hired actual surgeons as advisors who taught the actors how to handle scalpels, clamps, and sutures. The pig organs used for realism created a smell so terrible that some extras fainted during filming. The blood-soaked sheets and metallic lighting turned the set into something resembling a nightmare. When audiences laughed during these scenes, it disturbed Altman deeply, because he had designed them to be uncomfortable. He realized the power of satire could turn horror into humor, revealing how numb war makes both soldiers and spectators. Every laugh was a moral question, dressed as entertainment. Fact number 7. Altman broke Hollywood's hierarchy. In traditional Hollywood productions, the director commands from above, but Altman dismantled that entire system. He treated MASH like a community experiment, where even crew members could make suggestions. He let camera operators decide their own angles, and sound mixers capture conversations without coordination. This approach infuriated producers who saw it as chaos. But Altman called it democracy on film. The overlapping dialogue, the shifting focus, the background conversations that steal attention all came from this freedom. MASH looked alive because no one followed rigid structure. It was filmmaking, stripped of control, reflecting the unpredictability of war itself. Altman proved that authority could collapse, yet art could still thrive, showing the world a new way to make movies with authenticity instead of obedience. Fact number 6. The film accidentally predicted Vietnam's mood. Though set in Korea, MASH premiered during the height of the Vietnam War, and audiences instantly connected the dots. Altman claimed he was not making a Vietnam movie, but his imagery, tone, and cynicism spoke directly to that generation's disillusionment. The blood, the bureaucracy, the moral decay, all mirrored what America was seeing on nightly news. Soldiers wrote to Altman thanking him for expressing feelings they could not share publicly. Politicians condemned the movie for undermining patriotism, but the public embraced it as truth disguised as comedy. MASH became more than satire, it became emotional rebellion. Without saying Vietnam, once it defined how America processed its most divisive conflict, using laughter as both protest and confession. Fact number 5. The theme song was written by a teenager. One of the most haunting parts of MASH is its theme song, Suicide is Painless. The melody feels calm, but the lyrics are disturbingly dark. Altman asked his 14-year-old son, Mike, to write the lyrics because he wanted something simple and naive. He told him the song should sound stupid, yet profound. What Mike created was chilling poetry that contrasted innocence with despair. The song's slow rhythm and ironic tone made it unforgettable. Even stranger Altman's son earned far more money from royalties than his father did for directing the entire movie. The studio used the tune again for the television series, making it one of the most recognizable and unsettling melodies in history. It was not a song about death. It was a lullaby for sanity lost in war. Fact number 4. The film's humor nearly got it banned. When MASH premiered at early test screenings, audiences were divided. Some laughed uncontrollably, while others walked out horrified. Religious groups called it blasphemous because of the irreverent jokes about death and faith. Military officials accused it of damaging morale during wartime. Studio executives panicked, believing it might be censored. But when it premiered at Cannes, it won the Palme d'Or, shocking critics who finally understood its deeper message. It was not mocking soldiers. It was mocking the system that forced them into insanity. MASH's dark humor redefined what Hollywood could say about war, breaking every rule of decency to tell the truth. Laughter became rebellion, and censorship could not contain it. Fact number 3. The actors never saw the final script. Robert Altman refused to give the cast the complete script. Instead, he handed out pages for each scene on the day of shooting. He wanted genuine reactions, not rehearsed performances. The actors had no idea where the story was heading or how their characters would end up. Some thought it was incompetence, while others realized it was genius. That uncertainty mirrored the unpredictability of life in a war zone. The actors learned to adapt in real time, just like soldiers reacting to chaos around them. Every confused glance, every improvised exchange came from genuine bewilderment. Altman turned lack of control into storytelling weapon, proving that confusion could reveal more truth than any perfect plan. Fact number 2. The film created an entire genre. Before MASH, war films were either patriotic or tragic. Altman changed that forever by inventing the anti-war comedy, a genre that mocked heroism while exposing trauma. The mix of gore and humor shocked Hollywood. After MASH came Catch-22, Kelly's heroes and countless imitators, but none matched its raw nerve. It opened the door for filmmakers to criticize war through laughter, a language more dangerous than any gun. The blend of satire and horror inspired directors across decades, from Stanley Kubrick to the Coen brothers. What began as one chaotic experiment turned into a permanent shift in how cinema could challenge power through irony. Fact number 1. It almost never got released. When MASH finished production, Fox executives were horrified by the result. They thought the film was unsellable, dark, and offensive. It sat on a shelf for months, while the studio debated cutting it to pieces. Altman begged them to release it, untouched, threatening to walk away if they interfered. Finally, a new executive decided to test it at a small screening. The audience exploded with laughter. Word spread fast, and the film became a cultural phenomenon. Against every prediction, MASH turned into a box office hit and critical triumph. What was once dismissed as chaos became legend. It proved that honesty, not comfort, wins the war for truth. Bonus fact: Altman was nearly fired before filming began. Before a single scene was shot, Fox executives doubted Robert Altman's ability to handle the project. He was relatively unknown and had a reputation for being rebellious. Another director was already lined up to replace him if he failed to deliver the first week's footage. But when the initial dailies came in, they were electric, chaotic, and alive in a way no one expected. Altman's career was saved overnight. MASH not only made him a household name, but also reshaped the language of modern cinema. His style of realism, improvisation, and overlapping dialogue became a blueprint for decades of filmmakers who followed. MASH was never just a movie. It was a war fought with humor, truth, and rebellion. It shattered the illusion of heroism and exposed the madness of survival. and decades later, its laughter still echoes with unease, reminding us that the line between comedy and tragedy is thinner than a scalpel's edge. If you love uncovering secrets like these, go ahead and like and subscribe, because more cinematic confessions are coming your way. Stay curious and keep watching.